Okay, welcome to your Banking with Billy books number 2. This does follow up from our previous Banking with Billy books number 1. If you would like to read ahead, you can go ahead and check out the other lessons and other books as well. This one here, chapter 1, will be all about what does bullish and bearish mean and understanding the core concepts of market trends. At this current time, we do see that global indices are beginning to take a turn towards the bearishness as the market begins to drop back down. We'll talk about reasons why, and we'll even show you in real time what's going on utilizing our BTC and or Bitcoin that remains active here even during the weekend, so you can see what real-time bullishness and bearishness is and understand how to follow along in those trends in real live trades. If you would like to catch my current, latest, or next trades, make sure you check out your Billy Banks section inside of your Banking with Billy investing app. Currently up a couple thousands of % on our Bitcoin trades right now. And we'll talk about the trends that led up to this point so you can understand those market trend concepts. So we will discuss on all levels why and how, starting out with your penny stocks. So for this example here, we'll go down to your most active stocks that are on the market right now. One that's moving pretty fast. This is FAT stock, Fat Brands. If you go down to a 15-minute trading chart, they will come in for a quick burst. Remember, we spoke of oversold with bullish divergence getting ready to start to form in and pushing that back up towards overbought, where you can see that your FAT stock is starting to reach up to here on the previous day before those long traders would like to lock in gains and or go for the next round of short selling. If the stock has options, then that comes in as well. The options for new traders is like invisible pressure. It's like fighting somebody and getting punched by invisible hands. It's pressure coming in that you didn't even know existed. So we'll talk more about options here very briefly in this lesson as well. If you want to catch up to what we're talking about, check out your previous Banking with Billy lessons where we talked about short interest, short squeezes, reading candlesticks, mastering breakouts, going long, going short for long-term investors, swing traders, and day traders. And what we're looking at here is day traders and swing traders, specifically really off of a 15-minute chart trading time frame, who would have been taking the most recent short sale position, looking for another long position to come in for the next incoming round of bullishness. Now, you do have different kinds of statistics that will come into play in market fundamentals and market news and whatnot as well. We'll talk more about that later on, not to overwhelm you with too much. Now, if you are trading off of a certain specific chart trading time frame, which you are, whether you recognize it or not yet, you have to make sure that you abide by that time frame. What do I mean by this? Well, people are going to be trading, doing 1-minute chart trades, as you know, those fast traders. We've all been there. We've all done that. You can have people who are a little bit more patient now, going for 15-minute chart time frames, going long, becomes overbought, they're going short. You're making money, remember, going both ways, okay? And then you have your longer traders, 4-hour traders and daily traders going for swing trades and longer moves. This is where confusion can come in, because now people can be looking at something for a longer move, like a daily chart or 4-hour chart, and then while they're waiting for that move to happen and they're seeing wicks being made, look at the quick wick at the top of this candlestick. Well, they'll get nervous. They'll want more information that can be given to them than the daily chart and or 4-hour chart can give them at that time. So what they'll do is they'll go down to the 15-minute chart trading time frame, and or to see even more, the 1-minute chart trading time frame, and see such rounds of volatility coming in that it affects the mindset of what they got in to gain off of a longer move, because now they're acting and are reacting at the least off of faster traders who aren't going off of that longer chart trading time frame, which will then there confuse newer traders and newer investors who aren't too used and too experienced to this, because they haven't had the capital that allows them to risk to take as many losses or wins yet, to know that these different fluctuations happen of long and short on the different specific chart trading time frame. Choose yours. Mine is a 4-hour chart and a 15-minute chart. We all look off of a overall daily chart, but not to overwhelm you with too much. That's for like penny stocks and regular stocks. Like you buy like shares and stuff like that. And then of course you have like different, like look at HBAN is at $20. So of course you got to understand and mind your portfolio and asset management skills, so then you don't overwhelm yourself with buying too much. Make sure you got the extra capital down or the average down when it gets down. Understanding your stop loss range. If you're going for that stock, okay, let me explain. So when you are getting in and down at the bottom, you have a 7 to 15% stop loss upon entry. Once that stock starts to rise up, you can fall. You're gonna trail your stop loss behind it, but stretch that out. So let's say you got in down here, right? And this stock goes up, you up 15% now. You still got a 7 to 15% stop loss down there, right? Now, once this thing breaks that resistance there and now it goes up 30, 40%, now you don't got a 15% stop loss no more. Now you got like a 20% stop loss. You got it goes up, you can stretch that out. Now it goes up more. You're up 100% now. Now instead of having a 20% stop loss, now you're up 100%. Now you got a 30, 40% stop loss. As that rises up, you stretch that stop loss out. Now, diving deeper into what really weighs the heaviest, we're talking about options trading, okay? Because when you're coming down to the bigger things like your overall S&P 500s, yeah, they do buy their shares of those. Even I don't hold long invest in these shares of the S&P 500. I trade them as options trading, and I'm doing those as day trades. Here, I'll explain more. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, the S&P 500s, and NASDAQs, okay, right? As a newer trader, look, these are what the stocks are listed under. These control the markets, right? These are what weighs the markets, let's say more respectfully, okay? Now, they're getting waves of what is options trades on your overall S&P 500 and Dows and NASDAQ. That's why when we see the markets open, you up at 8:30 a.m. and you see those big massive drops that be coming in, those are options trades. Here, I'll show you more. If you want to get caught up to all of this, you feel like I'm talking a little bit too advanced for you, then go ahead and check out your Banking with Billy books lessons ones, so you can go ahead and see what the beginner settings for all of these things that we're talking about right now, from how-tos to market trends to picking winning stocks to understanding your RSIs, MACDs, and VWAPs, and the whole sham boozoo. When you are ready to live trade, you can always join me in our live trading voice chat, and I'll do the live trading with you there. This is free, and you can always meet me and join us along in the Billy Bank section inside of Banking with Billy, where I alert out and showcase my current trades and my next upcoming trades. Here for this example now, as we got done talking about penny stocks and showed you where you can understand that at, understand the why and the how for options trading. So for options trading, for example, on SPY, under everything, it's going to weigh a lot heavy. You're going to be using a bigger amount of money from the portfolio. Yes, there is fractional shares and buying on certain different apps. Webull does have the fractional shares there for you as well, but do not overwhelm yourself with doing too much if there isn't too much that you can do. We do what we can while we can, and we get what we can while we can. We are only willing to give back 7 to 15% upon entry, and you must be willing to give back at least 7 to 15%. They are going to take something back. You might as well at least be willing to give them that 7 to 15% out of the overall hundreds and thousands of percent that you'll be getting when you start to actively trade with confidence, and or at least know where you are following along with your trades and or trends from. This is going to escalate into us getting into Bitcoin and crypto trading here in this lesson, but you need to understand how heavy options weigh. When we talked about that invisible pressure, you're fighting somebody, you're getting hit with invisible punches. If you're in the market and don't understand the fluctuations and or the overall options chain, then you are at the greatest of disadvantages of anybody. If you are mastered these, then you are at the greatest of advantages, understanding how to follow along with the trends of bullish or bearish. You have things getting ready to have a bullish divergence. That bearish down there is going to start to go back bullish, and you're going to ride that wave. In this example here, I'll be showing you our most recent Bitcoin, our most recent SPY calls. I would get in our SPY calls around 9:47 a.m. Understand this. You do not need to rush to the market. You don't have to be there at 8:30. You don't have to be staring at that thing until 3 p.m. You can. We all like to. You know, it's a way of life. But whenever you wake up, it's there for you. All you have to do is see the current positioning. For me, on 129, 9:47 a.m., I get some calls to about the 689. These actually went up to 693 actually over the course of time, but my 689 calls for that one day, we would get at the bottom, will go up to exactly 690. 691, just a bit off before they started to lock that in, pushing us up from that entry at 9:47 a.m. up a couple 100%. There are other examples of my recent trades that I can show you and talk about, but I don't want to overwhelm you with too much. Call debit spreads and put debit spreads and advanced contract. You know, we're not going to overwhelm you with too much here in this lesson. Those advanced things come. We're going to keep it basic so you can know how to ride your penny stocks and options and whatnot. Now, this thing, you got big money putting in those options trades like SPY and the S&P 500. When they get around a cause, it's going to make the markets go back up. When they get around a put, it's going to really make the markets go down. Now, that's going to lead into your penny stocks, you know, the Dows and NASDAQ, to your S&P, to your large caps, the S&P 500s and whatnot. And then comes the what matters the most. And I know that I'm leaving out what may feel like a lot of gaps in between here, but we can only get through so much in one lesson. We do have a lot more to talk about. Make sure that you do check out the previous lessons to get caught up with any type of gaps you feel like is missing out on, because those are from book number 1 already. And we're going to continue on in the next lesson. We're going to start to dive deeper into how market sentiment drives prices and exploring the investor psychology and its impact, so you can best understand when to ride and how to ride. And so this brings us into your BTC, which I promise you is the most important at this current time in our world, at the least. Don't get me wrong, anything can change extremely fast, but you know, y'all live on planet Earth with me, right? So y'all see what Bitcoin and the cryptos have done. Y'all see what cryptos and the Bitcoins and whatnot are doing. It is undeniable the power for a change that these things can bring, and the amount of profit that can be made from trading and or utilizing crypto trades at the least. Let's talk more about that here. What I'm showing you is some advanced indications that will be able to show us clear in detail what's going on with BTC, like I told you at the beginning of the video. Right now we have your BTC that is touching a bit up towards, it's pushing up towards this main pivot range. Notice that BTC took a massive drop down all the way from the highs of 126,000, where it came in for its big red sell indicator. That indicator, that there, I'm not going to leave you hanging, right? That indicator, that there with the big red sell signal is what they call your super trend. Notice how it went away? You don't need it, okay? But it's great to have these different indications. But I'll tell you, indicating with too many indicators will throw off your indications, okay? Your super trend will tell you when to sell. Your main pivot points will show you what the next levels are. If you just seen that go away on the back of my chart. And your SAR indicator will tell you when to stop and reverse. You will always know, I promise you. Whether you don't, I'm not one of the people that's got to, you better be inside of Banking with Billy to see this. No. You better be inside of what I got going on to see this. No. I promise you, by following along with this set, don't get me wrong, you still got to have a certain mindset, portfolio and asset management skills and whatnot, right? Keep up with the news and the trends, but guaranteed 100% you will know what the next stops up and down are. Keywords are. Right, I promise you, you're going to make that money off of using it, but you are 100% for a fact guaranteed to know what the next stops are, which I'll explain now. For this example, we will have BTC drop all the way down from what was about 126,000, where let me tell you, the big money gets in at the beginning. Smart money gets in at the beginning. You want to get into the safe, easy, early seat. Remember, not the seat where it's too late, not the seat where you got to trade, worried about anything. You want to trade with no fear, no pressure, and no anxiety, and that is only obtained by getting into the safe, easy, early seat at the top of the stock, or in this case, crypto. For this example here, I'll show you when you get those, then you're now going up thousands of percent. Our original BTC entry was at 123,000. Again, you can follow along with these. Again, you don't need to follow along with any different sets of actual alerts. You probably do want to have something there for you. I'll tell you for sure. You do want to have something there for you, man. So you'll be able to read off of something that tells you when to go long and when to go short on different various moves, or at least when the next pressure is about to change off of a move. I do update and alert mine saying when to buy and sell, but again, showing you your main pivot point indicators that show you what the next stops are. That blue line is the main point. We will get massive shorts down from the very top, pushing you up thousands of percent. Now from this bottom, it's touching down towards its support level 2. They're getting ready for a reversal, a long position, to push it back up towards the main pivot point. They may be looking to go for the full dip of retesting down to support level 3. This is where sentiment comes in. Now, this is where the pressure comes in. Remember, like I say, you need to understand not only how this works, but also why this works. Because they need to keep proper balance. Things have to go up and things have to go down in the markets to keep proper balance for companies, for the world, for the country, so nothing goes all off the wall and so everybody has a chance. You want to be able to keep up with your latest news going out that will tell you what's going on. For example, here in most recent news coming out just about 20 minutes ago for your Banking with Billy app, over 1.50 billion liquidation in the crypto market in the last 24 hours. Big important updates are going on right now. Step Finance loses 30 million in Solana treasuries. When you see that bearish indications are coming in, when you see as bearish news happening and going out, and you got that in real time, then you can best move accordingly. The cryptos and ETFs control the world and control the market now. If you want to know more about that, Then check out my How Market Makers and Futures and ETFs News and Control the Stock Markets, and check out our How Bitcoin and Crypto Markets Controls the Stock Markets latest videos. You also need to understand the different proper trading apps and market cycles. We do have all of those from our book one. I know that this is a lot for you to understand here, but you need to understand this stuff if you will be able to continue on in your trading journey. You need to understand that proper balance must be had. So things must go up and must go down. But this gives everyone a chance, whether you are doing off of your 1 minute trading time frame for penny stocks and shares or options or crypto and leverage, or you're doing that off of your 15-minute chart or your 4-hour chart or your daily chart. You're going from bullish to bearish and understanding the core concepts of what drives things to become bullish or bearish makes all the difference. I'm not going to overwhelm you with too much more. I know that was a lot, but here to recap, we talked about bullish and bearish for penny stocks and regular, cheap things down there. We talk about bullish and bearish for options traders and the ones going for the overall market conditions, that are driving the forces and stuff, so you understand where to look out for. And we talked about how cryptocurrency and BTC has its rounds of bullishness and bearishness as well off of this different specific chart trading time frames. And I even showed you how you can find those on your own accord and know what the next levels are. Understanding, not only do you need to understand how this works, but you also need to understand why this works. Once you do, you'll be able to best make your moves, read the markets, predict incoming trends, mind your portfolio and asset management skills. And next, we will be diving deeper into the next lesson, that is how market sentiment drives the prices, and explore investor psychology and its impact on stock movements. If you find this helpful, informational, then give this a like. I ask for nothing more. Go ahead and share this out somewhere. This is knowledge that changes lives. I'll see you guys in the next one, and happy trading.